Hello, everyone. It is me, Samuel, with Samuel Brock Flynn Show here on YouTube. So, my thing here with this plant, okay, you see it's pretty. You see that it's very, very pretty, nice, all that. That's a plant I personally took a photo of, but you got to watch out for society. You got to watch out for a plant like this. It might be mean and ugly on the inside, meaning, excuse me, meaning it might be poisonous. It might be, this. So, the point of this topic today is the mean, jealous, and the ugly is what the point of this whole thing is about. So, um, this here is actually a good example of how beauty can be the ugly. So, but we gotta take that application and apply it to our lives and realize the people we may meet is the mean, jealous, and the ugly. So they could be the mean, jealous, and the ugly, and that means that they have sort of envy towards you because you started something that they did not. So, however, my point is here, if they were just and they believed in God and that they are believers of God, we should not envy those and trying to take their companies and whatever else away. We should actually be proud of them that they have what they have created. You know, and actually go from there, not envy them, try to take their company away, or try to harm the company's reputation, or even try to change everything about their company to make it look like um, they're a bunch of nervous wreck people that can't make their minds up. We don't want to look like that. You don't want to look like that. Um, Usually, yes, every products, some of them change their packaging and labels every year. um, I don't know about logos, but they do change their logos. Usually a brand logo usually changes actually every 10 years. I mean, I've noticed that too. Some people will change their brand name every 10 years, but they don't generally change it every year. And the reason is you're messing up the trust that was built surrounded by that person or business. You're hurting their trust by changing that logo, and then they have to now try to trust you again. So, you know, that's the other thing. Unless you make an announcement, hey, we've changed our, we've come to to decision to change our logos and everything and our marketing. That's the only thing there. But I wanted to let people know there are some people out there that are they're just plain Jane jealous, and and unfortunately I've met them. And and another thing is to um, be very weary. I'm gonna go back to myself, to my picture of me, so the audience can understand here. Be weary of people like that. You know, they're trying to change everything within your company, take over everything, blah. Just be very weary. Um, just be very, very cautious and wary. Would I trust them necessarily? Absolutely not, until I got to know them and know that they meant no harm. And then two, I will want a contract, number two, and the contract states everything in every legal stipulation. And I don't want a contract from their side. They're getting a contract from my side, considering I'm the one that started the company. Um, I'm not signing something of theirs. I'm not handing over my company to just anybody, just to mess up my reputation, to mess up other things. I mean, I created this whole thing of the Sam F shoes from the ground up. I'm just saying there are people out there that you got to be very weary of. And I'm just letting you guys know from experience here, you know, they may look like this plant here. Let me go back to the plant. They may look like this plant here, but does that mean that they're that on the inside? They may be pretty on the outside, but does that mean that they're pretty on the inside? So I'm just using that as example that, hey, you know, um, now I'll say this: if you ever get people that says, "Oh, you talk about yourself too much," or blah blah blah, and then when you go to ask them, "Okay, since when was it that I talked about myself too much?" You know, and they don't give you a straight up down answer, your suspicion is there too. You know, you have a lot of suspicion. So, um, you know, I would really I mean, now there's some people that have flaws in them, and I'm okay with helping them too, as long as they're not trying to scam me or try to do me wrong. You know, I'm okay with helping them if they need, you know, help with something. You know, I do not mind helping someone as long as you're not trying to scam me or my time. I'm fine with it. But if you're there to waste my time and scam me, I don't want anything to do with you. Neither does my shoe company type stuff want anything to do with you. We don't do business with scams. We don't do business with scam artists. We deal with real people that are authentic, genuine, and that are really actually ready to do business. So if they, you know, so that's the purpose of this, the mean, jealous, and the ugly. The ugly part is you may be screwed at the end, you know, of whatever you've given them, whatever the whatever you end up doing with them, you may be screwed with that. So that's my point here. And you know, and that's what I'm saying to you all is like, you know, that there's there, you know, have good luck with it, but at the same time, you know, um, don't be trying to screw people over. If you're gonna be one of those that screw people over, I want absolutely nothing to do with you, because not just because I say so, it's because God says so. God does not want, you know, he, you know, workman is worth his labor. It says in the Bible. And if you don't pay those, if you don't, you know, um, if you don't help those that helped you, it will come 10 times back on you. You know, because that God will pay you a visit. God himself will pay you a visit. Make sure you're paying that back 10 times over. So I want you to be very careful of who you deal with, and very, you know, who you deal with and who you talk to. If you talk to people and treat them, you treat others the way you would want to be treated. If you're going to treat them like a dog and things like that, most people are not going to want that. Most people are going to want treatment as being nice, courteous, and helpful. If you're not going to be nice, courteous, and helpful, and actually talking to them in a professional manner, they're going to go away. They're going to be like scared off, not even want anything to do with your business. So, um, I mean, there's some of those people I have about to probably drop because they talk to me like a dog, and I'm not a dog. I'm a person. I'm a human being that's living, for Christ, trying to do right. I'm not out here that need to be talked to it like a dog. Okay, I'm not a dog. I'm a person, a human being. So if you're going to talk to me like a dog, our business ventures are done. Okay, that is how I'm going to put it. So I appreciate you guys for listening to my little podcast there, but I want to let you guys know the mean, the jealous, and the ugly is that. So I had to ask God about this stuff, and realize there's some people that should be understanding, you know. Now, if you ever get those people that want you to that you first met and randomly want you to move in with them, by all means, do not move in with them, because I'll tell you why. There's something up with that. They want you to move in because they want to take your stuff. They either take your stuff or take advantage of you. And, something is behind that kind of stuff. So I want you guys to be very careful out there with who you associate with and who you talk to. Because, I want you guys to understand it throws up some red flags to me about people wanting to do that. And I don't even know some people out there that well myself, and I wouldn't move in on with them until I give it some real thought, because I have to be sure that they are who they say they are, and that I have to make sure that I get to know them. It takes me about probably a good month or two to get the trust built up. Trust doesn't come like an instant. Trust builds up over time. If you've ever heard of the saying, trust builds up over time. So, and that is very true. Very, very true. So I want you guys to understand that you be very cautious in whatever manner you take, whatever kind of thing you take there. I mean, I understand if it's a business or workplace, but still, most businesses or workplace don't want you really living there. They want you just to come and go as you please, usually. I mean, most places are set up that way. I mean, it may be a decision that you or you know that you decide to move to. I'm not sitting here telling you no, you can't move in. I'm just saying watch out who you move in with, and watch out of who you actually talk to. Oh, that's neat. Just be careful. Be kind of on the side of, be a little bit, weary about people. Because some people are just not nice people. Some people are just not nice. And some people are, you know, I don't know. Some people use people for stuff. And I'm trying to stay away from being used. So I may be nice, but I'm also going to be like, okay. So I'm going to be very cautious in what I do. So, but I mean, if you can get to know people quicker, that's good. But I suggest knowing somebody, take it slow. That's for anything. Take everything slow, because I'll tell you why. Most people will want you to do this, this, and this. They'll want you to do everything quickly. And once you see that somebody wants you to do everything quickly, you know that that's a red flag too. Like, hey, so there's a way to talk to people and there's a way to not talk to people. And a lot of people know who I am, and if they see you talk to me in a manner that should not be talking to, by all means, they're liable to say something, and I can't help what they do. So, but there's a lot of people that would be upset about things like that, things of that nature. So, and I mean, you gotta understand too, if you talk to people in a rough way, they are going to leave they're going to leave the job, number one, whether it be an actress, especially in the entertainment industry for sure, or a show host of a show, or anybody, they're gonna run and head for the hills, because they see the person is not taking them. They're gonna take they're gonna take you as an arrogant guy and then or woman, and they're going to sit here and say, man, I wish I never worked for those people. Or, man, I wish I never signed that contract with those people. I'm serious. They're going to say that. And I'm not sitting here saying that as somebody that comes across as a wimpy guy or whatever. I'm sitting here saying this because people will not want to work with you. Because this is Tennessee. Don't forget, this is Tennessee, and Tennessee don't take any kind of crap from people. So, and that's what you got to understand. They will, Tennessee will stand up for other Tennesseans. That's what you got to understand. So, and they will do something about it. They're not going to be over here bullied, okay? They're not going to be over here, listening to the gnashing of teeth. They're going to be over here trying to figure out how they can help this individual get away from the gnashing of teeth. So, but I want you guys to understand very clearly that there's people out here trying to take advantage of other people and their avenues and revenue. So I want you to understand that, if they do that to you, I've been unfortunately scammed before. So, but thank God it wasn't thousands of dollars, is like but I'm just saying, at least it wasn't that. I don't plan to be scammed out of thousands of dollars. So, but if I am, they just need to remember, scammers that scam, God will pay you in full a visit, and you'll be owing it 10 times. So, I do appreciate you guys' little audience here. So I do appreciate it. Thank you for listening to my little rant here. But I appreciate you guys. Have a good night.